Hello dear students, and now we are going to see the waterproofing of different elements like the basements, swimming pool and underground duct, and also we will be seeing the waterproofing of terraces and the chejjas also. So let us start. How do we do the waterproofing in the areas where there is basements, swimming pools and underground ducts such as lift pits? So in those areas there are a lot of chances that water can start leaking because there is the reason where the pressure is so much, because the entire pressure from the entire structure is coming on the ground. So ground is being pressed by the entire dead load of the structure. So the pore water pressure also increases and it wants to come out through seepage, or by the capillary action it wants to rise. Okay, so in the basement there are a lot of chances that there are patches or dampness being seen in the different regions. Okay, so that's why the waterproofing becomes very important in those regions. So in the work procedure, first of all we carry out the work of plain cement concrete bedding, and there we provide a concrete mix in the ratio 1:4 base coat, and this is the coat at the base with waterproofing compound also being added, and above this fix we may provide or go for the tilings, and here we have used the tiles Sahabat tiles. So there are different types of tiles. I hope you must have studied those types of tiles also. And then amongst those tiles we try to maintain the brick joint pattern while fixing the tile for base. Okay, and after fixing all the tiles on the basements or the swimming pools, then we do the grouting of the joints, and grouting, as we have discussed, is done with cement slurry. So slurry is a semi-solid type of solution of cement with water and some compounds also, and this is done under pressure completely. Okay, so after grouting is done, we apply a jointless layer of cement mortar. Jointless layer means what? There is no joints. So we do all the cementing work in one go, because if you do in a stage wise pattern, then there will be formation of joints. So we try to lay down the entire cement mortar mix in one go itself. Okay, so such a layer becomes a jointless layer, and this is 25 mm thick, and then we cure it for 7 days. Okay, and for basement, provision of gutter and sump is also made in PCC itself, and Sahabat base is also prepared in the same fashion. So the gutter is given proper slope towards the sump, and this is done by a preventive measure against occasional entry of rainwater into the basement. Okay, and after curing for 7 days, we provide the final jointless waterproof plaster coat in cement mortar 1:4 over the rough Sahabat tiles. So this is the entire stepwise work procedure in making the basements regions really waterproof. Then let us come to the waterproofing of terrace regions, and you know that terrace are the mostly exposed to the rainwater. Okay, so on the terrace or the roof, what we usually do is the brick bat coba, but we have to be very sure that this is our terrace only. If we want to raise our building structure into various floors, then there is no need of doing brick bat coba. If we have finalized that this is our terrace level, then we have to do this brick bat coba coating. Now in this, what we do, first of all we fix in a slope. This is the slope 1:150, and in the bathrooms what is the slope? 1:100. So on the terrace the slope is less. Okay, there is not much water which is being coming onto the terrace level, as compared to the bathrooms, so the slope is also kept less. Starting from the lowest point of rainwater down take, and by keeping a minimum thickness of 65 mm below the rainwater outlet. And then we fix brick bats in cement mortar layer of 1:6 proportion in a slope of 1:150 with the waterproofing compound. Okay, so this is how the water coating mixture is made. Okay, can you see this diagram? One person is applying the water coating layer immediately, and one person has to keep on stirring. Okay, so this stirring job has to be done continuously, while another person is applying the coat on the surface. Okay, and this person has to stir the entire solution continuously. So then, after applying the brick bats in the similar proportion and on the given slope, we fill the cement mortar 1:4 with the brick bat joints. Okay, and then we fix the small pieces of brick bats along with 20 mm metal for covering of water rounding at the bottom of the parapet wall. So this is where the metal pieces are being used just for covering the water. Rounding are here. Can you see this is a rounding? Okay, so in those regions small pieces of brick bats along with 20 mm metal is also used, and a special care should be taken for achieving the round shape near the rainwater pipe. And of course, why we do this rounding around these edges and the region near the rainwater pipe? Because the rainwater which is coming on the parapet wall can get easily trickle down through these walls, and if rounding has been done, then that water can easily come on to the base of the terrace. Okay, so this is why rounding is done in those regions. Okay, so special care should be taken for achieving the round shape. And then we block the rainwater outlet with gunny bags to avoid cement slurry from entering it. And then we cure the brick bat cova coat for at least 7 days. So for 1 week at least the brick bat cova is cured. Okay, and this is the drawing, and this is simple drawing. RCC slab is shown here, and then is the brick bat cova, and then there is cement mortar paste, and rounding is done, and this is the parapet wall. Okay, so you can see all the notation is also written. One is the parapet wall, then there is RCC coating, then there is plaster, then there is brick bat cova, and then there is waterproof course final finish. So everything is written here, 1 2 3 4 5. You can see all the notations. So in this picture also it is very clearly shown all the details of glazed china mosaic type of waterproofing. So as I said you, this one represents the parapet wall. Okay, and the 2 represents the RCC coping. Now what is this RCC coping? This is RCC coping. Okay, so such a RCC coping is done over the level of the parapet wall. Now why it is done? Just to help the rainwater in trickling down on the terrace floor surface. Okay, so that rainwater do not enter on the parapet wall and damage it. Okay, so RCC coping helps in protecting the parapet wall, and it also helps in transferring the rainwater from the parapet wall to the below surface. And also we do a small angular here beading. This is called beading on both the surface. Now why beading is done? Beading avoids if rainwater comes here, and it may really drop from here directly. The rainwater may drop directly from here, so that the rainwater do not goes along the walls. Okay, so we want to avoid the rainwater entry into the walls basically. We want it to be collected on the terrace and then easily get transferred to the drain pipes. Okay, so here third represent sand face plaster. So this is the sand face plaster, third. And fourth here represent water with canny. So this is here, rounding is done, and water this is called, and rounding is done with the help of a metal piece also. Fifth is the RCC slab. So this is RCC slab which you are seeing, this one entirely RCC slab. And sixth here represent the brick bat cover. So this is the brick bat cover layer. And seventh here represents the waterproof finish. Okay, and eighth represents lime mortar bed, and ninth represents the broken glazed tile chips. So this is the tile chips which is broken, so that's why we call it a mosaic type of tiling. Okay, so this is another type of tiling, mosaic tiles. And now the final coat for terrace waterproofing is done. So in this we spread the cement mortar in 1:4 ratio along with waterproofing compound over the brick bat cover. So brick bat cover was left for curing. Now we have again spread the cement mortar, and then we press the cement mortar with the help of a ruler, and ruler has a length of 2 meters. I hope you must have seen the ruler also with the mason, because two instruments basically every mason have. One is the metal float and other is the ruler, and ruler has a length of 2 meters, and it is just used to do a planing job of the plasters. Okay, and then the surface is leveled with the help of a wooden float keeping 25 mm thicknesses. So here is the wooden float which comes with the ruler in the hand of a mason. And then we go for application of a thick cement slurry over the leveled surface along with the waterproofing compound for a smooth finishing. Okay, and then we polish the surface with metal float. So now you must be understanding where we use wooden float and where we use metal float. Metal float is basically used to level the cement slurry, whereas the wooden float is used to level the cement plaster. Okay, and then we make vertical and horizontal lines at an interval of 300 mm into 300 mm square blocks using a cotton lined dory of minimum 3 mm thickness so as to avoid cracking of the top layer. Okay, so since we have done all the finishing work, so we break that finishing work into 300 mm into 300 mm square blocks so that the crack should not develop on the external finishing. Because if you provide this minimum spacing by providing vertical and horizontal lines, then there are less chances of development of cracks due to the expansion or contraction. Okay, and then we clean and cure the final coat for next 3 weeks with at least 150 mm water standing on the waterproofing layer. So this is how we make the terrace waterproof. Okay, and next comes is the waterproofing of chejjas. And chejjas are the cantilever type of beams projection above the doors or the windows mainly, or the ventilation areas. So in those areas you can see this is the layout diagram of a chejja, and this is the plaster work being done, and this is the cantilever beam type of reinforcement being provided in it. And again here a rounding is done. You see this rounding. Okay, and this rounding is called water with kani. It is done so that the water may trickle directly from the surface and through this surface below here, and here also beading is done. Now beading avoids the water to pass through this entire surface. If we have done beading, then what happens, water directly drops from here. Okay, so it do not comes to the windows. Okay, so this is the cross section of the chejja, and here we first of all clean the top of the chejjas and chisel extra mortar if there is any kind of loose mortar, so we remove that. with the help of chisel. And then we apply a thick cement slurry over the top of the chejjas. And then we apply a screen coat of cement in the ratio of 1:1.5:3. And then we do the rounding at the junction of chejjas and the wall of the building. So this is the wall of the building and this is our chejja. So here between the interface of the two we provide a rounding, and this is called water, and this is being done with the canny. And then we cure this coat with the water for next 7 days. And then we apply a finishing coat with cement mortar of ratio 1:4 with waterproofing compound. And then after applying the waterproofing coat, we cure the waterproofing coat for at least next 7 days also. So this is how the chejjas are made waterproof. So making chejjas waterproof, we just have done simple application of slurry, and over that a few thick screen coating of cement mortar mixed with the waterproofing compound basically, and then curing only. So by now we can say all the procedures of waterproofing are almost similar. Even if you go for the waterproofing of bathrooms, toilets, water closet, or the basements, or the terrace, or the chejjas, most of the steps are going to be same almost. So we just have to do a small reading of all those procedures. So now it is the procedures of waterproofing of sloping terrace. So now there are terrace which are done in a sloping pattern. So in those cases, since the terrace is already provided with a slope, like the terrace over the staircase many a times are sloping terrace. So in those regions there are less chances of water being collected, but still we do waterproofing of those terraces also, because since it is a terrace, so waterproofing has to be done. So we clean the surface of the sloping terrace, and then we apply a thick cement slurry over the surface of the slab. And similar process of waterproofing chejjas is also done here. Screen coat is applied and then it is cured with putting wet gunny bags for next week, and over this coat we apply a finishing coat with cement, sand, mortar and waterproofing compound as per the design requirements. And then we make an edge between the parapet and the sloping roof on the second day, means the rounding, okay. And then we cure the waterproofing for next 2 weeks 15 days with gunny bags spread over it, and then constant watering is required on a sloping slab for during the curing process, because what happens, we cannot leave or we cannot do ponding over a sloping terrace because the water will pass away very easily. So we have to use the gunny bags on the sloping terrace, and then we have to do constant watering over the gunny bags so that they may remain wet during the curing period. So curing becomes difficult in sloping terrace because of slope, which has already been incorporated due to the design. So this was all about the waterproofing of sloping terrace and chejjas and the basements or the swimming pools or the underground ducts. So we will be discussing more on the waterproofing of expansion joints and overhead water tanks, and then basements, how do we apply the damp proof course on the basements in the upcoming videos also. So till that, stay tuned and stay safe. Thank you.